What's up, my fellow cycle enthusiasts? On today's video, I'm going to go over 9 inexpensive lightweight items that you should consider bringing with you whenever you go on a bike packing or a bike touring adventure. Thanks for watching. I've learned a lot in the 15,000 some kilometers that I've traveled while bike packing or touring, so I always make sure I never leave home without these items in my bags. This isn't meant to be an exhaustive list of everything you should bring, but rather some ideas of items that are relatively small, lightweight, and inexpensive that will make your time on the road that much easier. It also doesn't include items that are pretty common sense that you need to bring, such as a spare tube or a bike pump. I'm interested in knowing what your thoughts are. What inexpensive, lightweight items do you make sure to bring with you while you're on tour? Let me know in the comments below. Beeswax sandwich wrap. These are made by Abigo, which is a local company where I live. You can get a variety pack of 3 for $18. These are a really cool alternative to plastic food wrap, and they're really handy for wrapping up any perishable food that you might have on the trip. But more importantly, they're really excellent fire starters too. We always have a number of these around the house, so I make sure to bring some of the older ones that are towards the end of their life when I head out on a trip. Needle and sewing kit. On my first big bike tour down the Pacific coast of the USA, my handlebar bag ripped in a way that made it impossible to attach back to the bike. Fortunately, I was able to stitch it with some dental floss and a needle from a first aid kit. Ever since then, I carry some needle and thread, and I've had to use it on more than one occasion. These retail for only a few dollars and take up very little space. Ultralight stuff sack. When I switched over from a traditional rack and pannier setup to a bike packing bag setup, I started carrying an ultralight stuff sack in case that I needed a bit more storage capacity. For example, when picking up food towards the end of the day. This stuff sack is 18 liters, it's made by Osprey. It weighs only about 90 grams and packs up to the size of a fist. It retails for about $40 Canadian. It's made of nylon, it's super durable, very well constructed, and even has a water bottle holder on the side. The straps also have extra padding for your shoulders, which is nice to prevent rub. Carabiners. I always try to bring a few carabiners along on a longer trip. These are useful for keeping track of keys and for affixing items to your bike. For example, I use one to attach my fishing rod to the back of my seat post bag. A variety pack of carabiners can be purchased for only a few dollars. Zap straps and duct tape. Be sure to bring some zap straps and a roll of duct tape when you head out on a bike pack. They only cost a few dollars. You never know what's going to break or go wrong on the road, and a little duct tape can fix almost anything. These items were pretty invaluable as well. For example, when I was bike touring in Japan, we encountered a monsoon and my tent was blown over and the pole snapped. I was able to use the zap straps and tape to create a splint at the end of the trip using some wood. Sleeping mask and earplugs. A good night's rest is important to ensure your body and mind recover from a hard day of riding. There's a lot of research that suggests that wearing a sleep mask and earplugs lead to increased REM and deep sleep. I bought this sleeping mask for $3 and a reusable pair of earplugs for $8. There are single-use options that are available for only a few cents. Humans tend to not sleep very well in new environments, and this is known as the first night effect. Our brains are constantly monitoring the environment and are more likely to wake up to unusual sounds. Sleep researchers suggest that wearing a mask to cut out lights and earplugs to damper the sound will help turn your mind off and help you get a better night's rest. Spare bolts. With all the hard riding that comes with bike packing, it's only a matter of time before some bolt comes loose. I always make sure to carry a few spare bolts, which have come in handy more than a few times. You probably just have some of these laying around the house anyway. I always carry a spare cleat for my clipless shoes, ever since I broke one on my cleat while I was cycling in Alaska. I was fortunate enough to be near a bike store, but if I hadn't, it would have been quite the pain to bike with an unlevel shoe. A journal or diary. I'm not much of a journaler, but I've always brought a notepad with me to capture my bike travels. These are fun to read back on and reminisce about small details of trips that I once forgot about. These are some of my most prized possessions, and a journal can be picked up for just $1 or $2. It's always handy to have a pen with you on the road as well. Eye drops. I wear contact lenses, so I always make sure to bring some eye drops along on a bike pack, especially if I'm going to be riding on a lot of gravel or forestry service roads. There's nothing worse than not being able to see while bombing down a hill, and there's also nothing worse than constantly scratching your eyes. So that's it. Those are the 9 lightweight, inexpensive items that I always bring when I go bike packing. Catch you in the next video.